Lesson 4D, the esophagus, swallowing. Now that the food has been thoroughly chewed by the teeth and all the large pieces have been mechanically digested into a safe size to swallow, the tongue will move the food towards the back of the throat. The small dangle of tissue hanging from the soft palate, called the uvula, will help in signaling the swallow reflex, but will also prevent food arriving at the back of the throat, called the pharynx, from going up into the nasal cavity. This blocking by the uvula forces the food bolus downwards into the oral pharynx, rather than up into the nasal pharynx. While this is occurring, a similar blocking is occurring at the larynx, or opening of the trachea, or windpipe. A flap of cartilage called the epiglottis will reflexively come down to cover the glottis, the opening of the trachea. This is a very effective way in preventing food from entering into the trachea and redirecting food to the adjacent esophagus that runs parallel, but posterior or behind the trachea. If the epiglottis fails, then aspiration of food may occur, and choking may result. At the top of the esophagus is the upper esophageal sphincter, or UES. This muscle is under voluntary control, which allows for the conscious control of burping, vomiting, and the initiation of a swallow food reflex. The esophagus is a 25 centimeter tube composed of layers of different tissue that rest flat until food is swallowed. But due to its wavy inner structure, it can stretch quite wide to accommodate a large bolus of food. As food passes through the upper esophageal sphincter, the bolus is now rhythmically moved down the esophagus by wave-like contractions called peristalsis. These waves of contraction squeeze the bolus down the esophagus, like squeezing the last bit of toothpaste out of the tube. After traveling down to 25 centimeters of esophagus, the bolus will arrive at the lower esophageal sphincter, or the cardiac sphincter, which is under involuntary control. The sphincter will then dilate or open up to allow the food to pass into the stomach. During this process, no mechanical or chemical digestion is occurring while the bolus is being sent down the esophagus to the stomach.